Alright, so let me take you on a little journey. Over the past few days, I've been reading a lot about this AI startup called DeepSeek. At first, it was just another headline that I scrolled past, but later I came across the comments from Andrew Ng and Sebastian Thrun. Those are the two people whom I deeply respect. Their optimistic and unbiased take on the R1 model made me very curious. Then I started digging more deeper, collecting the facts and information about this, just to understand what makes this DeepSeek different. And the more I read, the more fascinated I became. This isn't just another AI tool, it's about a company that's rethinking how AI is built and who gets to use it. Let's break it all down together. Here's the part that really caught my attention. DeepSeek's R1 isn't just another generative AI. It takes fundamentally different approach as compared to OpenAI's GPT-4 series in a lot of different ways. Number one being in the number of parameters being used. As we know, GPT-4 models are huge. They run on over 1 trillion parameters, whereas DeepSeek's R1 it uses 671 billion parameters. That's a huge number as well. But out of those, only 37 billion parameters will be active at a time for a task. Thanks to their expert system design, only the relevant parameters for a task are activated, cutting down on the unnecessary computation. Number two being the token processing. Traditional models processes text token by token at a time, which is slow and resource intensive. DeepSeek's R1 processes multiple tokens or phrases simultaneously, making it much faster without sacrificing the accuracy. Precision and compression. Instead of overusing the memory and compute, R1 employs precision optimization. It reduces the memory requirements by storing numbers only up to 8 digits of accuracy rather than storing it up to 32 digits of accuracy. And that is good enough for most of the use cases. Specialization over generalization. While OpenAI builds general purpose models that tries to solve everything on the planet, R1 is built for task-specific specialization. Think of it as having a team of experts who only step in when there is a specific knowledge is required, rather than one generalist trying to solve it all. Reinforcement learning and the pre-trained models. Here's the key difference. DeepSeek uses reinforcement learning to fine-tune its outputs. They start with the pre-trained models like Llama and then teach R1 to build on those answers, refining them for accuracy and context. And also in that process, it will teach the optimal number of parameters that are being used. So how does this all come together? The result is a model that costs just a fraction of what GPT-4 is built on far lesser hardware as well. And it's not just efficient, it's competitive, often matching or surpassing the OpenAI's benchmarks also. As a developer, I've always felt like building AI at this level was out of reach for me. Sure, we can use APIs or the pre-built tools, but actually building something groundbreaking, that felt like a game reserved only for the tech giants. DeepSeek changes that. By focusing on efficiency and reducing costs, they are making AI more accessible to everyone. Imagine being able to develop AI tools without worrying about the massive infrastructure or the hardware bills. It's no longer about who has the most resources, but it's about who can think differently. For developers like us, this opens up so many possibilities. Whether it's tools for healthcare, education, or small businesses, we now have a chance to focus on solving the real world problems without thinking about the weight of the infrastructure holding us back. DeepSeek hasn't just caught my attention, it sparked a conversation across the industry. Andrew Ng called this as a golden opportunity. He said that the efficiency of models like R1 creates huge potential for the developers to innovate on the application layer. Sebastian Thrun praised the DeepSeek for turning constraints into innovation. And Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella called this as a wake-up call. He emphasized that the models like R1 signals a shift in the global AI leadership, and that we need to compete through innovation rather than just competing through restrictions or sanctions. These aren't just the surface level reactions, they show how disruptive DeepSeek approach really is, not just for the AI development, but for the entire tech ecosystem. There is something even bigger happening here. DeepSeek isn't just making AI cheaper, but it's making it accessible. And that has ripple effects in a lot of different fields. Number one, startups. You don't need millions to compete. With models like R1, innovation becomes more democratic. Industries. In industries, AI can scale into different various types of industries like healthcare, education, or agriculture, where cost has always been a barrier for them. And to the environment, using less hardware means lower energy consumption, making AI more sustainable. But here's where it gets tricky. This could trigger something called as Jevons paradox. This idea is that as something becomes cheaper and more efficient, people end up using it more. Think about it. As AI becomes affordable to everyone, demand for GPUs, compute power, and infrastructure might actually skyrocket. So while models like R1 are incredibly efficient, they could still lead to more overall consumption of the resources. It's a fascinating concept and a reminder of how innovation often brings new challenges. Of course, DeepSeek isn't without any challenges. After their application hit number one on the App Store, they had to pause the signups because of the hacking attempts. Scaling at this level of innovation while staying lean is going to be tough. But if they can overcome these hurdles, they are not just setting a new benchmark, they are proving that efficiency, accessibility, and smart design can disrupt even the most established industries. Alright, that's my take on DeepSense and why it feels like such a big deal. Not just for the industry, but for the common people like you and me. What do you think? Does this feel like the beginning of the new accessible AI revolution or just a passing trend? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, give me a like and subscribe for more tech deep dives. Until next time, stay curious.